solarpowerco.com.au.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club or charitable organisation? Club Fundraising is an Australian family-run business, and we pride ourselves in creating partnerships with clubs, helping build stronger communities. Our free online platform provides everything you need for a successful campaign. With a step-by-step interface and best-in-class payment options, Club Fundraising makes it easy for clubs and contributors alike. Revolutionise the way you fundraise. Start your free campaign today. Head to clubfundraising.com.au. That's clubfundraising.com.au.
At WinnersBet, we don't just enjoy a punt, we live for it. WinnersBet is 100% Aussie owned, and we offer football markets on over 40 competitions around the world. Earn rewards points for every dollar you wager and redeem them as bonus bets. Whether it's A-League, Premier League or international football, WinnersBet is your new one-stop shop for football-mad punters. Support your local. Head to winnersbet.com.au now. Gamble responsibly.
The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrews Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
I think the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week, that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional.
When you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Stuck into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.
And good evening, Knights fans. Welcome back to the Night Train. We've been discussing everything and anything Melbourne Knights. Once again, I'm joined by my, call him a co-host for the year, Josh Parrish. Josh, good evening.
Good evening, Zovac. Always good to be with you on a Monday. Not the best first team result to talk about, but we've got lots to discuss, lots to get through.
Bumper show tonight, as always. We've got some junior news, women's news, especially after their fabulous win on Thursday night, in the Night Cup. A bit of late drama to talk about there. We've got another live cross from the stadium from the boys' training tonight, and obviously a massive home game this Friday night with us hosting Port Melbourne Sharks in the kickoff of the reverse fixtures that we had in the first half of the season. So bit happening tonight, Josh.
Absolutely. Lots to look forward to this evening. A chat with a new recruit, which we're very much looking forward to.
Very much. We'll have Oliver Zafaridis joining us a bit later on the show. Had his debut on Friday night, and I thought he done pretty well on debut. But anyways, we'll kick the show off with a quick thank you to our sponsors, I&D Group, Living Gems Lifestyle Resorts, Melbourne Croatia Soccer Club, the Australian Croatian Clubs of Melbourne and Geelong, Adcon Group, Evolve Reinforcement, Empire Global, and the sponsor of the show, the St Andrews Hotel. And also, we've got a new sponsor joining us, so just a quick few words about them. The Melbourne Knights Football Club would like to welcome our latest sponsor, DK Property Partners. DK Property Partners are a young, dynamic real estate firm who, like our club, started from the grassroots and are embarking on an ambitious new chapter in the western suburbs of Melbourne. Properties for investment and lifestyle is a results-driven motto to which DK Property Partners focus their vast resources and industry knowledge to assist people with their dream to find that special home or investors to maximise their return on investment. The Melbourne management team consists of highly trained and experienced property and sales managers, and they are all equipped with formally recognised industry qualifications to provide exceptional standards of property and sales management, valuation and consultancy services. The Melbourne Knights look forward to a long and prosperous partnership with DK Property Partners. So welcome aboard. And as always, if anyone listening is looking to become a sponsor of the club, we're always looking for new people to jump on board and become part of the Melbourne Knights family. Sponsors, I think anyone involved in this sort of level of football knows how important sponsors like that are to the club.
Yeah, it's what makes the clubs survive and thrive. And I was really lucky enough to have some emceeing duties as we covered a couple of weeks ago at the South game, and met a whole bunch of the sponsors, and was in front of them on stage talking national second division and all that. And you won't find a more passionate group of Knights supporters than the people who put their money where their mouth is, and obviously to promote their businesses as well. But mainly it's a endeavour of love for the club that leads people to contribute. So a big welcome to the new partners, and a big thank you to all the sponsors who keep this show going and keep the Melbourne Knights going as well.
Definitely, without a doubt. Without the sponsors, the club would not be able to function. So again, we take the time at the start of the show to thank especially the bigger ones on a weekly basis, but to all of our sponsors, big or small, it doesn't matter how much you're giving. The fact that you are giving is cause for thanks enough. We'll go through the juniors wrap-up. So the Mini Roos had their round 5. The under-8s with a 3-0 win. Under-10s Ivan with a 1-1 draw. Under-10s Jack with a 5-3 loss. And the under-11s with a 3-0 win. The round 6 for the under-12s and 13s. The under-12s W with a 4-2 loss. The under-12s K with a 4-2 win. Under-13s A with a 2-1 loss, and the NPL juniors, under-14s with a 1-0 loss, the under-15s with a 1-0 loss, under-16s with a 2-0 loss, and the under-17s with a 9-1 loss. So heads up to all of our juniors. I'm sure the results will turn around the next couple of weeks. Look, here we go. That's the nature of junior football. Things happen. The results doesn't always go your way, but I'm sure the team, all of the teams will be turning it around in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, look, it's all about a lot of those age groups having fun, playing for the club, developing that bond with the club and with your teammates, and it's fantastic to also see the Knights recognising some of the volunteers who contribute big style. There was a nice post I saw earlier in the week to that effect.
Look, and that's something we should probably bring attention to. It was Volunteers Week last week, so to all of our volunteers, whether that be in the juniors, the women's, the seniors, at any aspect of our club, if you're someone who's gone out of their way to help out in any capacity, the biggest and heartfelt thank you, because without volunteers, our club it couldn't run without people, whether it's the committee or people just coming to cook a barbecue on a Sunday or even a Friday night at a game. Without people like that, the club's just not viable. They're the lifeblood of a club like ours.
Absolutely. What have we got next, Servac?
What have we got next? Well, we're going to go through the women's results, and then we'll have a quick chat about the Night Cup win on Friday night. So the under-9 girls with a 7-0 win over the weekend. Congratulations to Teo Dorgic on scoring 4 goals. Niece of Andrew Buttigieg, so it looks like maybe there's a bit of goal-scoring genes in the family.
Love it.
You're going to love to see it. The under-12 girls with a 7-0 win. The under-14 girls with a bye. The senior reserves with a 7-0 loss. And the senior girls picking up their first points of the season with a 3-3 draw on Sunday.
Yeah, so some good results across the women's program.
Yeah, good results. And look, be remiss not to mention the Night Cup victory on Thursday night. From all reports, it was a game loaded with drama. The girls hit the crossbar apparently in like the 89th minute or 88th minute with the game locked, went to extra time, and in very unlike Melbourne Knights fashion, the girls got up on penalties.
I saw that. It was drama-filled. I was just, in the absence of a live stream, just refreshing the Twitter feed over and over again to try and get a penalty shootout result in that Avondale game. Avondale, a couple of divisions below, but they do not have a State League 3 squad. If you look at their record, they won, and it only just came to an end quite recently, but I think they won across this season in 2019. They had a 27-game winning streak.
Yeah.
So they're flying. They've got at least a WMPL squad in terms of the calibre of players in that team. And I saw them not this weekend, but the weekend before play a friendly match, and there's some good players there. So it was definitely an even contest, a real battle over 120 minutes, all the way down to sudden death spot kicks. And the Knights did amazingly well, even though Avondale had the kick to win the game, the fifth penalty. They've hung on, they clung on, and somehow they squeezed through.
Absolutely. And look, we had a bit of a chat to the girls. Josh, I think we've got the interview here.
Yeah, indeed. Let's bring up that interview.
We're joined by Philomena Delic post the Knights girls team's emphatic win in penalties last night. Philly, how do you feel about the game?
Yeah, really good. It was a really tough game. We ended up going into extra time and then penalties, obviously. Really tough game. We missed one of our centre backs, so we had to change our whole formation. So we had a good, strong defence. But it was really tough, but we got there in the end, which is good.
Now, I understand there was a bit of late drama at normal time. Couple of chances didn't quite go our way.
Yeah, I know. It was, I was coming from the middle, and then I was dribbling in, and then I saw one of my team players wide open. I could have shot, but I was with my left foot, so I wasn't too confident. So I passed it to her, and unfortunately she missed. But yeah, that was that one. And then I had another one. It literally just slid off the crossbar, literally that close. Spewing, but yeah.
How was the team sort of feeling going into extra time?
Really stressed. We all didn't really want to go into penalties because it's such a stressful situation to be in, especially for our keeper and the penalty takers as well. So it was very stressful. We really were trying to push for a goal, but we also didn't want to concede one either. So yeah, that was just the main thing. Just stressful. And then obviously the penalties went our way. How was everyone feeling post the game? Oh, it was so bad. Everyone, I wasn't looking. I couldn't look. We were all holding hands. We were all shaking. I felt like I was going to vomit. Someone started crying. It was just a whole disaster. But we got there in the end. Our keeper saved 2, which is really good, and then we got the rest. But yeah, it was just so stressful. I've never had such a stressful game in my life. I don't recommend it. Make sure you score before.
So the celebrations afterwards would have been something special after a win like that?
Yeah, we all got drenched in the change room, obviously with the water and the song and everything, and with the juniors as well. They loved it. They were all right next to the goals. They were saying go, Vanessa, go Philly. They were loving as well. Then they ran on the pitch with us, and yeah, we all celebrated. And then yeah, it was just a really good celebration because we really were pushing for that win, and we got it in the end.
So obviously massive, you're going through to the next round. How are you girls feeling about the next round of the Cup?
Stressed. Yeah, we're playing an NPL team, so it's going to be very, very hard, and we just need to focus, and I think that we can get there.
Thanks for your time.
No worries.
Beautiful.
Well, that was a great interview, I got to say. What a fantastic chat. So he's just revealed so much about the player's state of mind, the nausea, literal nausea.
Literal nausea. And look,
I think all the supporters feel the same way whenever the Knights go to penalties.
Oh, definitely. Look, us as a club, we haven't exactly had the greatest record with spot kicks. But the girls, like she said, it was absolutely phenomenal performance by them to get up. The keeper making 2 saves in penalties to keep them in it. The girls scored when they had to, and as she alluded to, the celebrations went off. I've seen a couple of videos from a bunch of the junior girls were in the change room with them, and you love to see that. Just that togetherness, top to bottom from the club. I think it's something that we do really well, that the interaction from top to bottom, from our seniors to our women's to our juniors, it really is something that makes our club special.
Absolutely. I just thought that was fantastic, and, a real bonding experience for all of those players to come through that kind of situation and get over the line, and great to see it's carried through their league form as well.
Look, there's probably something to be said for that. You get a good result there on a Thursday night, you come into the weekend, your confidence is up and about because obviously you've got the good result on Thursday. So hopefully this can spur the girls on for the rest of the year, and their season picks up from this point going forward.
100%. That's fantastic stuff.
Fantastic stuff. We'll go around the grounds, Josh, for the NPL results over the weekend. Green Gully and Dandenong Thunder playing out a 2-2 draw.
Noel Bernardo goes pow.
Pow.
Golazzo.
Look, some of the commentary this year. I don't know how you want to take it, whether it's phenomenal or a bit meme-worthy, but you love to see
I think
it.
it was Blakey on Green Gully Reserve. He said, "There are no words." Is what he said. There are no words for that.
Look, mate, you're a commentator. It's your job to find the words.
I didn't blame him because a guy improvising an Ibrahimovic-style overhead kick from outside the box to draw a match in stoppage time. And did you see the Thunder fans sprinting to the corner?
Yeah,
Oh,
you love that.
That was awesome.
You love it.
Fantastic. A long trip for those Thunder away fans to go support their team at Gully in the West. That was fantastic, and I really did enjoy that late equaliser.
Definitely.
What a league.
What a league. The NPL is the gift that keeps on giving. Dandenong City falling to Port Melbourne 2-0.
They disappointed me, Danny City, this week. And after the highs of last weekend and the turning point that we flagged, it really wasn't. Port Melbourne maybe... they have a tendency to fly under the radar and people underrate them, including myself, but I was quite disappointed with Dandy City and what we saw from them against Port Melbourne.
Look, it seems to be a bit of a thing with Port. They normally seem to hit their stride about this sort of point of the season. And look, with them being this week's opponents, I'm sure it's going to make for an absolutely cracking match down at Summer Street on Friday night.
Yeah, I think it will. They're in pretty good form. The Knights have this unfortunate habit of catching every team just as they hit their stride. It's a phenomenal record. You go through every single game this season, and it's difficult to pinpoint a team that you've played when they haven't been, at the top of their game. Maybe Port Melbourne in round one's the only exception.
Yeah, maybe round... Look, really looking at it, every other team, I think we've got just about their best in terms of how they're playing in the league, players back fit. We seem to have a bit of an unlucky record of when we're facing people, and again, I think Port Melbourne, that might be the case with them this Friday. Oakley Cannon suffering, probably for me, a surprising 2-0 defeat to Hume City.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be a good week for Oakley Cannons if tomorrow night doesn't go well, geopolitically. Not least to Turkey and Macedonia in the space of a few days. But Hume City... Should I not have said that, maybe?
No, that's good.
But Hume City are really hitting their stride at the moment. Oakley, I don't know what to make of them. They've got this amazing squad.
The squad's
They
phenomenal.
keep signing new players. I mean, what are they going to do now? The transfer window's closed. They can't tinker with the team anymore. I just don't understand why the best squad by far in the entire league is dishing up really inconsistent performances week to week. Sometimes they're brilliant, sometimes they're shocking, and sometimes they're just bang average.
Yeah, you really don't know what you're going to get from them. They've been a fairly consistent mixed bag all year, Oakley. Altona Magic and St Albans playing out a 1-1 draw.
It's a pretty eventful one as well.
Definitely.
Did you see the red card?
I did see the red card.
First off, Troy Ruthven goes studs up and elbow up into a player, play on called.
Yeah.
And then seconds later, the whole thing boils over and somebody gets sent off for an attempted headbutt that was hitting a shoulder. I think that's the worst way to get sent off. Like a violent act that did not connect.
No, well, look,
it's like it feels so pointless.
Attempted assault would be my least favourite way to get a red card. Like if you've gone through someone, you've gone through someone.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It happens. You have maybe a bit of a brain fade. Professional foul. You tug someone
it's
back.
in the course of the game at least.
You take that. Whereas that for me, that's a complete headless moment there, and they're probably going to rue the chance to potentially take 3 points out of the game.
Well, St Albans doesn't say much for them that they managed to lose a 1-0 deficit against 10 men against the bottom of the table team. That's a shocker. I mean, St Albans obviously are underdogs in this division, but that's the game that you have to win. That's a relegation 6-pointer.
Yeah, definitely.
They should have lifted themselves right out of trouble. Instead, they let Jonas Markovsky, do a little step over and smash one in at the near post. And they couldn't make Altona pay with 10 players. It's crazy to me that they didn't find a way to win that game in that situation.
For me, even that, look, you go 1-0 up, they get a red card. For me, you're sitting there going, you know what, even if you don't necessarily take advantage, there's no reason with 11 men you shouldn't be able to defend 10 out for the rest of the game.
Exactly. Especially a team like St Albans who
they've proven they're
at times shown a real resilient edge.
Yeah.
In other games where it started to go against them, they've shipped 5 or 6. But
they've got the potential for a capitulation there. But
when they're engaged and when they're in a game when they're competitive, usually they're pretty resilient. So that's very strange.
Strange result for me as well. South Melbourne and Bentley playing out a 1-1 draw.
This was crazy. I don't know if you saw the last 10 minutes of this one.
I didn't, no.
I was called up on short notice for Chris Gleeson, feeling a bit under the weather, so I got the double shift with the women's game with Matilda starting in the South Melbourne defence, surprisingly. It just announced on the day that they'd signed Jenna McCormick. I was like, okay,
Right.
just South Melbourne things. And then at 7 p.m, there was a brilliant game. South really showed something different in this game. I've been calling them, frauds and panel beaters all in this show all season. They're not. They've just got a coach who doesn't really seem to believe in them. I think that's my diagnosis of South Melbourne this season. And they don't have anybody who can finish. Yeah. With Harrison Sawyer in a moon boot, there is nobody who can put the ball in the net. It's crazy. They scored from a penalty. Marko Jankovic is probably the only guy who can finish in that side, and he's a centre half. So they really played a different way. It was set up really well for them. It was the perfect game for South because Bentley plays such attacking football and they take so many risks that South Melbourne have every opportunity to counterattack, but they still were so much more attractive to watch than I've ever seen them this season. They were dribbling, they were using Zach Bates and all these guys who were really quick and have a lot of technical skill and dribbling ability. Daniel Clark was amazing, apart from the fact that he couldn't hit the side of a barn door. And they just blew chance after chance in front of goal. And Bentley with 10 men after the was actually Corey Sewell, former Knights man, got sent off.
He's had a couple this year.
There was a bit of an unlucky red card. I thought it was debatable as a straight red. But they nearly stole it at the death with Kieran Dover smashing the crossbar. It almost went over the line. And, South have just shot themselves in the foot by not recruiting better and not having the depth in the squad up front that you really need. I mean, Sawyer, without him, I don't see them pulling up any trees despite a much, much improved team performance. Yeah,
look, definitely. And for both teams there, a bit of a missed opportunity to go clear at the top of the table. Yeah,
huge missed opportunity for both sides, really. It was amazing the last 5 or 6 minutes. It was like a NBA Finals game. It was seriously, it was that pace. It was just back to front. Neither team taking any kind of responsibility defensively. Bentley, even with 10, you think you just put men behind the ball and see it out. That's not the Nick Tolios way, apparently. So I found it relentlessly entertaining, and I was almost out of breath and in cardiac trouble by the end of the game. But somehow it petered out to a tie, and we didn't get the spectacular winner the game deserved.
It's the same thing for the fixture after this one. Heidelberg and Avondale also playing out a 1-1 draw.
Avondale should have seen this out. It was a terrible goalkeeping mistake from Rory Bryan, who was the hero of the week previous, saving a penalty. And that's total brain snap for. It was a poor back pass, but he still shouldn't have done what he did.
That's the way football goes. Hero to not so much hero. I don't want to say he's been all right this year, but. Yeah, it can change so quick. A week in football really can be a long time.
Not a mistake you want to make when you've got Bon Scott on the bench behind you. There's a serious competition for the number 1 jersey.
Yeah, definitely. Just to give you all a recap of how the table's looking like after the midpoint of the season. Avondale sitting in first on 26 points. Bentley Greens on second in 24 points. South Melbourne in third on 23 points. Heidelberg in fourth on 23 points. Hume City on 5th on 21 points. Oakley Cannons coming in at 6th on 21 points. The Knights in 7th on 21 points. Port Melbourne, this week's opponents, sitting in 8th on 19 points. Green Gully in 9th on 16 points. Dandenong Thunder moving up to 10th on 15 points. Eastern Lions sitting at 11th on 12 points. St Albans sitting in 12th on 10 points, and Altona Magic 13th on 7 points, and Dandenong City coming in at the bottom on 7 points, tied with Altona Magic.
Yeah, Altona off the bottom, just. One GD difference. But you know what's funny about looking at that table? We had this pinned as the week where we found out who was going top of the table and who was going to, steam ahead in the title race. It was first versus fourth, 2nd versus 3rd, and 5th versus 6th. And somehow the entire table, apart from Hume going up, has stayed exactly the same.
Exactly
Everyone
the same.
drew. So for the Knights, it wasn't the worst week to have the performance that they did against Eastern Alliance.
Yeah, well,
Wasn't the worst week. You haven't lost too much in terms of the actual top six and indeed title race.
No.
Even it's still within
It's
touching distance.
still
It's so close.
definitely thereabouts. And just before we go to our first break for tonight, we've got our trivia question for the evening. In 2013, the Knights played at home to Pascoe Vale in what turned out to be an absolutely thrilling affair. About 3 or 4 red cards, and close to I believe it was a 91st minute winner with an absolutely stunning free kick. We're looking for the name of the goal scorer. Now, look, this game is definitely etched into my memory. It was the opening of our 60th year as a club. I thought the season was going to absolutely go bonkers from there. And look, it didn't end up too badly. Unfortunately, went out in straight sets. In the finals, Andrew Buttigieg missed an open header at the back post in front of about 3,500 people, given the tourney was in Melbourne. But the season opener, so we're looking for the goal scorer for that fabulous free kick. And once again, the winner of the trivia prize will receive a $50 merchandise voucher. Now, again, we're going to pump the merch up. It looks absolutely fantastic. We've got our new jumpers and some of our other winter stock will be coming in the next couple of weeks. But, you know, we've got our jackets, we've got some jumpers, there's some T-shirts, there's a whole bunch going on. So, once again, the number to call in is at the bottom of the screen. For those listening in, the talkback number is 99449999. And the SMS number is 0428 933 345. Now, once again, we will reiterate, a text or comment through the Facebook will be accepted. But if you do call in, you will be given priority. So we do encourage you to call in to ensure the merch pack stays yours.
Absolutely. So that trivia question again, just
Trivia
reiterate.
question again. We're looking for the goal scorer for the winning free kick in Knights 1-0 win in 2013 round 1 home opener against, I'll even give you the team, Pascoe Vale. Absolutely phenomenal free kick, etched into my memory forever. Guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll be reviewing Friday night's result. We'll have the live cross from the stadium and obviously this week's game against Port Melbourne to talk about.
Whether you're a land developer, in local government or a service authority, Lenco Group will help you get your job done on time and in a cost-effective manner. Lenco Group provides superior civil engineering and advisory services by creating, communicating and delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. For all your infrastructure requirements associated with residential, commercial or industrial development projects, visit our website lencogroup.com.au or give us a call today on 1300 152 626.
At WinnersBet, we don't just enjoy a punt, we live for it. WinnersBet is 100% Aussie owned, and we offer football markets on over 40 competitions around the world. Earn rewards points for every dollar you wager and redeem them as bonus bets. Whether it's A-League, Premier League or international football, WinnersBet is your new one-stop shop for football mad punters. Support your local. Head to winnersbet.com.au now. Gamble responsibly.
Electricity from the big energy companies is now the most expensive way to power your home. In fact, the average electricity bill in Australia has more than doubled in the last 15 years, but not for the ones who went solar. Unlike your electricity bill, the price of solar has actually come down, and there's also government rebates available. So what are you waiting for? Join the 2 million households already saving hundreds of dollars every year. See how much your roof could be making you at solarpowerco.com.au. Go solar and get $500 cash back with the Solar Power Co, Australia's most trusted solar brand. solarpowerco.com.au.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club or charitable organisation? Club fundraising is an Australian family-run business, and we pride ourselves in creating partnerships with clubs, helping build stronger communities. Our free online platform provides everything you need for a successful campaign. With a step-by-step interface and best-in-class payment options, Club fundraising makes it easy for clubs and contributors alike. Revolutionise the way you fundraise. Start your free campaign today. Head to clubfundraising.com.au. That's clubfundraising.com.au. The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrews Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. Now, obviously we didn't mention our result earlier, but we're going to have to discuss it now. Melbourne Knights going down in unfortunate fashion to Eastern Lions 2-1 on Friday night at home.
James Baxter in the comments asking if we could skip talking about Friday night. I think we may have just lost him from the stream, unfortunately. But we do have to address it.
We do have to. We'd be remiss not to mention it. You got to talk about results, good and bad, and Friday's one is a bit hard to swallow, especially when, for mine, we dominated large sections of the game, but, it
wasn't a bad performance.
No, not by any stretch. It's not like they came out and outplayed us for 90 minutes or anything like that. We had more than enough chances to win the game, but
it couldn't be more different to the Bentley game, really.
No, correct. In terms of a result, wasn't the bounce back we were looking for, but from a performance perspective, the boys turned up. We definitely played well enough to take home the 3 points, but if you're not going to be clinical in front of goal, especially in this league, you are going to get punished. And unfortunately, it was an absolute wonder strike that ended up taking the 3 points home. Like, if they're going to score goals like that every week, they're not going to stay in the bottom half of the table for long. But just it's a bit of a hard one to swallow for me.
It really is. I mean, absolutely peppered the goal, and the Caleb Mikulich miss summed it up best, I think.
Yeah, well, look, that I think just about sums up.
He doesn't even know how that didn't go in.
No.
There's no explaining it, just one of those football things that happen sometimes.
Look, unfortunately, when it happens to other people, the memes start going around everywhere. You're laughing, sharing it to your mates, can't believe you didn't score. But, look, when it happens to you, it stings, mate. And, look, Friday night stung, but again, I think there's more than enough positives to take out of the game. I think, again, Felipe was, for me, coming off the bench, was a real difference maker. He really was looking to create, looking dangerous every time he went forward. There were good performances across the park. I think again, Brycey, even Trevor in the midfield looked a lot better tonight.
Yep.
As opposed to last week. For me, he was probably one of our best on ground.
He's getting fitter, I think. Is
Definitely.
The big thing with Trevor. It's nothing to do with his aptitude as a player. It's everything to do with his body, and that's going to dictate his performances, basically.
When you look at the performance overall, and this has been a bit of a common theme over the last, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks. When you're not taking your chances, you're going to get punished. And look, whether that's down to a bit of a slump from a few individual players or just maybe a team psyche overall, but that's going to turn around. That's not something permanent. We haven't struggled to score goals this year. We haven't struggled to create chances. It's just, for whatever reason, on Friday night, we weren't clinical in front of goal, and, you're going to get punished in this league, even if it is by an absolute bomb of a strike.
Ryan Losty put everything into that one. It was an absolute thunder bastard.
Look, absolutely phenomenal goal.
The first Eastern Lions goal, you can say very avoidable. Really
Definitely.
Disappointing mistake at the back, miscommunication.
Yeah.
Player not looking. Nicola's on his heels, and that's the kind of goal that the Eastern Lions do score because they're waiting for the mistake. That's how they play.
And look, they're going to punish you for mistakes like that.
Drutsis that's his bread and butter. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He just waits for that one opening. And he's actually like a very creative player, but he's adapted to play that way because that's what Eastern Lions need.
Yeah, correct.
And they brought in all those new players. They certainly looked stronger than they have done.
Yep.
But James is comparing them to Greece Euro 2004. Dire to watch, but they get the job done.
Well, look, on Friday night, I mean, give them credit. In the first, especially 25 minutes to half an hour or so, they looked pretty good, but I think the boys definitely, it's the last 10 to 15 minutes of that first half and definitely in the second half, we were peppering them just consistently, just couldn't seem to find the back of the net.
I mean, there was the shot cleared off the line, which was
look for me,
centimetres.
I've watched that footage back a couple of times. it's for me, it was one of those 50-50 sort of calls. And I mean, the linesman's got to be, to call that a goal, you've got to be pretty certain it was over the line. Even me with my Knights tinted glasses on, I'm not sure if it was or not. But, again, we've had 2 goals ruled for offside. Caleb's one. Look, I've watched that replay back 5 or 6 times. I can't for the life of me see how he was offside. That stands. And even, Dorjock, maybe a little bit inexperienced, caught offside for his as well. But, it's football. Sometimes it can be a fickle mistress. It can really punish you. Caleb's especially, that goal stands. You go 2-1 up in that game, and I think that ends very, very differently.
I have to echo your thoughts on Felipe, though. My goodness. I mean, he was really special the way he came off the bench.
Oh, look, for me, he sort of just sparked that real second half surge that we had. Was a lot of it was like he came on and, even, look, unfortunately for Caleb, he missed, but for that chance, it was, he fought to get the ball back, drove back in, I reckon probably 10 out of the 11 players on the pitch at that time are probably shooting from there. He does the right thing and squares the ball. Look, unfortunately, it didn't lead to a goal, but he had a couple of key moments in that second half where I think he's just showing his progression as a footballer.
Absolutely. I mean, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about whether his best position is as a 10 or as a winger. Who's to say he can't be halfway in between?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of positions he was taking up, were that half space, I think coaches call it, that kind of, I don't know, it's almost like watching Ninkovic or something in the A-League, the way they play in between the opposition centre-back and full-back and get into that spot there, that channel. And he's got the pace to be able to play as a wide player, but also the technical ability to be able to come inside into those really congested areas and make things happen like a number 10. So I think playing the sort of narrow 4-4-2 that the Knights have been playing this season, the wide role actually suits him better than if it was an out-and-out wing role.
Yeah, correct. And look, I think another thing is especially in this system we seem to be playing this year, that front sort of 3 or 4 that we're playing with, you're not really operating with your out-and-out like centre forward. They're floating in and out everywhere. So regardless whether he's starting on the wing or starting at the 10 or even starting up front, he's going to be floating into various positions. And I think that's where you're going to see the best of players like him, because he's got this, especially on Friday night, he's got this ability just to find those little creases in space and just make that right run to pick up a ball, run into space.
It helps that he's almost so small he can just sneak through an opposition player's legs. He can nutmeg them with his entire body.
Yeah, look, that definitely helps. But look, again, there was, I think Juzel had a fairly decent game for me. Zvetslu played pretty well. Manos, again, look, he conceded 2. Neither one really I'd put down to his fault. Again, he came up with a couple of clutch saves to keep us in the game at that sort of 1-1, even 1-0 down. But, Brycey again was massive at centre-back. But, he unfortunately don't come away with the win on Friday. I had a quick chat to Steve Bebic after the game. We'll just hear a couple of his thoughts post the result.
Yeah, let's get that interview up now with Steve Bebic speaking to Anthony Zervac post-match. On Knights TV. We call it Knights TV?
Knights TV, Night Train, I don't know. Call it a Zervac interview, mate. We'll go with that. Good evening, Knights fans. We're joined by Coach Steve Bebic. What are your thoughts, mate?
Oh, look, obviously disappointed at the result, and then get back into the game and cop one at the end like that. Yeah, very hard to swallow tonight, especially, last week we weren't there. We weren't at the gates of the races last week, and we wanted a reaction, and, I thought the intent overall from the squad tonight was there where it needed to be, just that execution in the final third. You watch this game over, I think we created enough chance to score 4 or 5 times at least, so, but there's not one easy team in this league, and you can't take anyone, or you can't underestimate any opposition, and that showed tonight.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, obviously, with the loss against Bentley last week. Squad's coming out of a run where we've had 5-6 games in the space of the last 3-4 weeks. How do you think everyone's feeling coming into our fixture kicking off again next week with Port Melbourne at home?
Oh, look, we're obviously now the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks have been difficult in terms of the loads and things for players. we know where we're at, sort of as a squad as well. We've got a lot of youngsters in the squad, so you're going to get your sort of ups and downs as well throughout the season. And but again, the intent was there tonight. The execution, that final bit of quality wasn't there tonight for whatever reason. But there's still enough positives to take from that first half of the season for us to continue on in the second half of the season. So I think we've played everyone now once.
Yep.
Sorry. Before that Bentley game, outside of the Bentley game, I don't think we've been outplayed once all year. So there's a lot of positives there to take.
Yeah, look, so obviously we've got Port Melbourne at home this Friday. What sort of reaction are you expecting from the boys coming into the home game?
Yeah, again, a big reaction like I was expecting this week.
Yeah.
And just the result now needs to be backed up by the performance.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to perform well. It's another thing to actually walk away with the points. So obviously we regroup, we go again, we train hard, and we see what will happen at Port Melbourne, but we'll be confident against Port Melbourne as well. So let's see what happens next week.
Thanks for your time, Steve. Thanks for your time, Steve. So Steve sort of echoing a few of the sentiments me and Josh both shared tonight about the performance on Friday. Look, I think objectively, if you look at, we're sitting seventh on the table at the moment, but when you look across it, it's, between us or really even Port Melbourne just below us, which is why this week's game is such an important one for us. Between Port Melbourne sitting in 8th on 19 points to really even Avondale's top of the league, they're only 7 points in front, or 5 points in front of us at the moment. The top of the table is so tight. So, look, again, Avondale, Bentley, Heidelberg and South probably did us a favour by not anyone getting a win over the weekend. They didn't really moved overly far from us with them only taking a point each, but
it was a perfect set of results if Knights were going to lose.
Yeah, well, correct. You'll take that, but someone told you at the midpoint of the season, at the start of the year, you'd be sitting 5 points off top spot. I probably would have snapped your arm off.
Yeah.
And gone, yep, thank you very much. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think this is kind of the turning point of the season. These next few games for Knights is going to dictate whether there's a title push, whether there's a finals push, or whether there's a tail off. And that's going to be the reality of it in these next few fixtures, starting with Port Melbourne on Friday night. Another home game.
And that's one thing I think Steve especially has sort of tried to instill in the squad, that, you want to make your home ground a fortress. We've had a pretty good run of form at home. We've lost 2 games at home this year. That one against Heidelberg, we absolutely peppered them. Somehow they walked away with a 1-0 win. And
same with Eastern Lions.
Same story tonight. It's just you don't. Again, we're going to say, you're going to keep saying this, but you don't take your chances in this league, you're going to get punished.
Yeah.
Both games we've lost at home this year. The Heidelberg game, I reckon we had about 19 shots on target, but you don't put one past him. Alice turned it on for 30 seconds that night, and they come away with a 1-0 win. And again, an absolute wonder strike sunk us on Friday night at home.
Someone's going to have to step up and take on the goal-scoring burden. That's going to be the challenge. Alan Webb, I imagine he's a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, look, it's down to the point you don't want to rush him back. The worst thing
you want him for the business end.
Look, and that's the thing. You sort of rush him back for this middle point of the season. He gets worse, and then you miss him for the whole end of the season. Then
that's the last thing.
That's the last thing you need or want. And again, I'm pretty confident with where the squad is sitting at the moment. I'm expecting a big. I'm expecting a win this Friday. Just to turn it around. The performance this week was definitely good enough to get the result. So onwards and upwards, I would be saying, for the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the challenge over the next few weeks is going to be replacing Alan Webb.
Yeah.
Can Dorjock, at his tender age and tender experience, step up? He had that magic moment against South Melbourne. That's one thing. It's quite another to do it on a regular basis.
Look, again, he scored one that was ruled for offside on Friday night. That goal stands. It would have done an absolute world of wonder for his confidence. But, you got to... There were a couple of points through the game. I think his inexperience showed a little bit, but I'm back in the squad in for this week. I'm expecting a big turnaround in performance.
Well, Zovac, we do say that talkback calls take precedence in the race for the prize.
We've got a caller.
I think we might have had this caller before.
Oh, maybe.
Young Maxim.
Maxim.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Good, you?
Oh, I'm not too bad. Do you have an answer for the trivia question?
Yes, I do. Was it Tommy Fraser?
Bang, bang, bang. We have a winner. It definitely was. Absolutely wondrous free kick. Mate, I don't know how old you were when that game happened, so you
might have had some outside.
How old are you, Maxim?
Now I'm 12, but when the goal was when it was the goal was like 5.
5. So you were at the game. You remember the game?
No, I searched it up and got the answer.
Oh, good on you for searching it up, mate. So just come down to the club this week. We'll sort you out with your merch voucher. How do you think the boys are going to go this Friday, mate, since we got you on?
I don't know. I reckon we should win and pull off win and defeat them.
Mate.
That's what we like to hear,
That's
Maxi.
what we like to hear, Maxim. Mate, we'll grab your details at the end of the show and we'll be in touch. But thanks for your call and enjoy the merch pack and enjoy the rest of your week, mate. I hope to see you at the club this Friday night.
Okay.
Thanks for your time, mate.
See ya.
See you later. Bang, bang. That Tommy Fraser free kick.
Oof.
It was phenomenal.
Is there footage of that?
I believe so. I think our current president, Pavel, might have been filming it and he kind of ruined the footage because when the guy went in, he was screaming like an absolute nutcase behind the camera.
It's well pre-streaming era.
Mate,
so.
oh, look, well pre-streaming, you're right. But
was that on VHS or?
I think he's got it on a floppy disk somewhere at home.
Oh, fantastic!
Look, Tommy Fraser. He had this real weird thing he used to do where he used to rip a hole in the back of his socks, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand why his calves really weren't that big.
No.
Nah.
Some players like to do it because it relieves the pressure on their calves. I
don't know.
Never really.
I don't know, but look, mate, he was banging,
skeptical.
He banged in that free kick round 1 for me. He could have been playing in his jocks. I don't think I really would have cared.
Maybe there's some sort of aerodynamic flow with the
Maybe.
speed he was putting on those free kicks.
Look, just to go back to Friday night's game, I had a quick chat with keeper Tommy Manos post the game, so we'll have that audio.
Yes, indeed. Thomas Manos speaking post-match.
Good evening, Knights fans, and we're joined by Thomas Manos. Mate, how do you feel after the game?
Frustrated. I think we deserve more, but I think it's been a common theme across the first half of the season. When you don't take your chances, you're not going to win games. We've been fortunate enough to get away with it up until now, and today, in a game that should have been made very easy for us, we made it very difficult for ourselves, and they've got quality on the park to do damage, and they clearly did. So yeah, it's disheartening.
Yeah, look, definitely, mate. I think the feeling from everyone in the grandstand that probably should have gone our way, but how do you think the boys in the change room feel going into obviously next week? Fixture starts up again. We've got Port Melbourne, obviously looking to bounce back. It's been a tough couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been difficult for us. We had 3 games in a week, and then we didn't play great last week. This week we deserve to win. Come away with another loss. So yeah, we're going to have to regroup as a team. I've said this all along, you don't win anything in the first half of the season. There's still a very long way to go. We have belief in the change room that our quality will get us through. We have belief in the coaching staff, and I think we as players now have to put our hand up and say, we should be doing better, because to dominate a game like that for 90 minutes and not have it done early is frustrating, and it's killing us at the moment.
Yeah, look, mate, I think a lack of ability to take chances seems to be hurting at the moment. What's your view on that? Sort of, you sit back in the goals, you've got a pretty good view of the game most weeks.
Look, it's frustrating, but we don't know the situation the boys are in up top. And that's the thing. From up top in the stands, from behind where I am, it looks like we should be scoring.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not, for whatever reason. Out of form, luck's just not on our side. Again, I'm adamant, and I stick to this because I've been fortunate enough to happen to me. Back into the season is when things start get going. So you have a couple run of games where you score 2-3 goals and the confidence is at an all-time high. We're probably not talking about this game. But for now, we know we need to take our chances. We know we need to be more ruthless. It's been a common thing that has been said by the coaching staff from day one pretty much. And yeah, I believe when things heat up back into the season, if we can start doing that, we're going to be a very dangerous team.
Thanks for your time, mate. So there's Tommy Manos, again echoing many of the sentiments we've had tonight. Look, for me, it's going to turn around. You know, probably been a bit unlucky in front of goal. You know, getting them cleared off the line, a few dubious offside calls. It's going to turn around. The goals are going to come. We're creating more than enough chances to be a very dangerous team in this league.
Yeah, the performances are not in line with some of the results that have been dished up recently. I mean, obviously the Bentley game's an exception, but someone who's been really impressing since his arrival is a brand new left back.
Brand new left back, and joining us on the live stream is Oliver Zafaridis. Ollie, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, guys. Nice to be on.
Mate, so give us a bit of a background. What brought you down to the Knights? What made you want to come and join this fantastic club of ours?
Yeah, it was sort of happened all really quickly, actually. It was just on Mother's Day, I received a text message from Steve. Came out of the blue. Had a busy weekend, and then on Monday I called him back late afternoon, so I ended up being 90 minutes left until deadline day was over. So it was a quick 90 minutes. It felt quick, much quicker than a game, actually. To make that decision, made a few phone calls, spoke to my club in Adelaide at the time, and they were really awesome about it. And it just felt like it was an opportunity that I couldn't really pass up to come to this club. So yeah, it all happened super quickly. Came over, a couple sessions, and then played on Friday night.
How are you finding the club so far? How are you sort of fitting in with everyone in the change room?
Yeah, slowly fitting in nicely. I think it helped up until the season so far. I had 2 years at Adelaide Croatia Raiders. So
yeah,
got used to the Croatians, got used to the culture, the family, like really trying to drive a professional standard and all of those things, boys being loud, all of that stuff in the change room. So yeah, it's been a nice factor that's helped me slot in, I think, that experience.
Ollie, it's Josh here, mate. There have been quite a few Raiders players, quite a few South Australians making the trip across the border to play for the Knights this year. Do you know those boys already? Has that helped you acclimatise?
Yeah, that as well, actually, I forgot to mention. So I was lucky enough to play with Webby and Mo. And then last year with the COVID lockdown, obviously we were able to continue our season in Adelaide, and then Nikola Jurkovic from here came over.
Yeah.
So I was able to play with Nikola. So knowing mainly those three boys has definitely helped sort of ease that transition into the change rooms and into the team, definitely.
You spoke about the whirlwind on deadline day. We caught up a couple of weeks ago with Mark Ivkovic taking through his hectic schedule. I think he had a sleepless night or two in there. Hopefully it wasn't as stressful for you. But take us back a little bit further, though. Your playing history. To give us your footballing CV in 2 minutes or less, please.
In 2 minutes, it's a tough one.
All right, I'll give you 3 then.
Nah, that's all right. Yeah, that's perfect then. Probably main starting point was juniors at Modbury, but then I had a good sort of 3 years or so, a little bit over, with the Adelaide United youth team in Adelaide.
Nice.
So yeah, had a good few years there, was able to get sort of best and fairest one season, which sort of set me up. Then just playing into the Adelaide NPL, nothing came of the senior team at United. Then I've gone between a couple clubs for a couple years, with West Torrens Burkalla, couple years with Adelaide Croatia Raiders, which loved both of those clubs, family clubs. Then this off-season, coming into this new season in Adelaide, I had just moved to Northeastern Metro Stars, which has been sort of, and was amazing, sort of fresh change as well, really driving to win, set standards, similar to what it was like with my previous clubs as well. I've always sort of looked for that, as well as that family and culture. And then, yeah, that 90-minute sort of whirlwind, and now at Melbourne Knights here. So 24 here, and that's the sort of little short summary of the career so far.
Look, mate, this is a question that gets asked on FNO. What's your earliest footballing memory?
For earliest footballing memory, I think would be probably, I actually started club soccer around 10, a little bit later, 10 and a half, but I started school soccer at about 8 years old. So I just remember running around, like little kids, like a swarm of bees following the ball. I used to take sort of free kicks, and you could just sort of dink it. As long as it was taller than the keeper, it would just go in. It was a lot easier to score back then, it felt. I hardly score these days. So scoring a few goals in those younger days is definitely a few memories. That's always nice.
No,
well,
definitely.
it would be a nice time for you to rediscover your shooting boots, if that's all right with you, mate.
I wouldn't mind that, actually. That would be refreshing.
So what do you do with yourself outside of football? We had a quick peek at your Instagram before the show, mate.
Yeah,
There seems to be a bit going on over there.
Yeah, it looks like you don't mind the yoga, mate.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit going on. It's hard to explain. It's funny how social media works these days. My main practice is sort of like a personal trainer, and coming from like a really holistic approach, which then matches in with athletic performance as well. My main teachers is a brand called Fighting Monkey that I learned from, and it's just been mind-blowing, the concepts I've learned from them. It's sort of based on coordination and rhythm, how that helps with sort of how we coordinate in our environments, in day-to-day life around the world and work and family, but then also it's just been of a massive benefit on the pitch as well, because if you're moving better, you're performing better, you're spending less energy, and everything's just more efficient. So yeah, that's sort of the short summary. It's intertwined with like philosophy, Chinese medicine, art. It's very broad, communication. So it's a real whole practice that has just expanded my life greatly, and it just works out that it helps with the soccer performance as well, which is ideal.
So does any of this involve wearing a shirt at any point? Because from the looks of your Instagram, I think you might struggle with the Melbourne weather, mate.
Yeah, I think maybe that's because I'm used to Adelaide weather. It's definitely been trackies, it's been socks, it's been T-shirts, long sleeves, jumpers, jackets, the whole lot so far in this first 8-9 days in Melbourne. Definitely nice and warm in Adelaide, capable to get the top off.
Well, if once the Instagram is discovered, I think the female attendances at Knights games are going to go up 300%. So it'd be a great business decision from the club to bring young Ollie in.
Oh, look, mate.
Yeah, maybe that's the real reason. Maybe that's the real reason, not because of how I am as a player.
Might have to have a chat with Bebic this week. Get you dropped so we can put you in a merch kiosk. I reckon we'd sell about 50,000 T-shirts.
Well, Ollie, thank you so much for joining in the show. Let's finish on a serious football question. Port Melbourne coming up this weekend. You just trained. Tell us what the review from last Friday has been like, and the preparations for this next game.
Yeah, obviously, just being new to the team, it's just been to the team slowly settling in. So we had a video session before training, and it was just sort of, reiterating standards that the team has set. Obviously, me being new to that, but definitely trying to stay positive. Results went our way as well, so actually not really too far off from the top, which we're fortunate about. So just trying to get back on track. We had a really good competitive hard session tonight, just short and sharp, really good standard. The boys were vocal. Steve was pretty, and the coaching staff were pretty positive in that chat, just sort of making sure that it's a mentality thing. Because I think I overheard you guys briefly in transition to coming on, but we're creating chances, actually still playing pretty well for my experience on that first, game, besides a couple counter attacks. So it's all really positive. It's been a good change room to come into. So if you just sort of do the work, if you keep pushing, you keep positive, you stay as a family like this club is, it just sort of trust and have that faith that it turns a corner. So hopefully start this Friday night at home again against Port Melbourne.
Well, mates, I think maybe you can share a few Chinese medicine mindfulness tips with the boys during the week and get their heads right for Port Melbourne, and then the goals will be flying in.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think so.
Mate, thanks for your time. Been an absolute pleasure having you on, and looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the boys on Friday night.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, mate.
What a lovely young man.
Well, absolutely lovely young man.
He expresses himself really well. Really bright, smart kid. I'm looking forward to rooting for him this season, because he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's going to be an integral part of this team going forward. A natural left back we haven't really had this season. Jack Marth doing an admirable job playing on his weaker foot.
Look, I don't think you can fault Jack's performance at left back at all this season. He really hasn't put too many feet wrong, but
it's still an advantage going forward when you've got someone who can cross.
And you even saw it on Friday night. There was a few opportunities he had where he really got forward. He was pegging balls in with that left foot. Now, that's definitely going to be something to watch for the rest of the year. But something else to watch, Josh. A new fan favourite of the night train, the Beer Garden Banter segment.
Yes.
We love it. We love it. Now, I have had... There was a couple of... Look, for me, there's going to be one interview here I think really stands out. There was someone who wasn't overly happy that they got interviewed. I'm sure she's going to be absolutely wrapped. That would be my sister. But we're going to have that ready for you now, and I hope you all enjoy.
Absolute fan favourite segment, the Beer Garden Banter. We can't wait to hear this next instalment.
Good evening, Knights fans. Who are we joined by tonight?
Roger Puhalovic.
Robbie, what are your thoughts on the game, mate?
A little disappointing, but yeah, I don't know. We weren't clinical in front third, I feel.
Yeah. Look, missed chances are going to hurt us, I reckon.
Exactly.
How do you reckon we've gone so far this year, though, mate?
I'm happy where we were sitting. If like you said on Monday, we were sitting top 6. I'd take that 100% for sure.
How do you reckon we're going to go for the rest of the year, mate?
Win the whole thing. 100%. Win the whole thing.
You're more confident than I am, mate. But love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Win the whole
Bang.
thing.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Who are we joined by tonight?
Chrissy Krinak, Max Krinak, Kiki Vukasovic, Kara Krinak, Nikisha Nikolic, Max Narelic, and Ilya Gelimanovic.
What are your thoughts on the game tonight?
Look, it was a really tough game. We didn't capitalise on our chances, but I just want to say the senior girls last night. So we're an advocate, like Kara's in the under-9 girls, so well done to our senior girls. So tonight the men didn't do it, but our girls last night did.
Well, at least the girls brought it home last night since the men couldn't tonight. How do you reckon we're going to go for the rest of the year?
Look, you know what? We need to still keep building on the squad we have, and hopefully we can get through. I think we've dropped now to 6th, but 7th, well, after the Oakley result, but hopefully in the next few weeks we'll push up Port Melbourne next week. Come on, Knights. Come on, Croatia.
Love to see it. Who are we joined by tonight?
Ivana Zovac, Anthony's sister.
Anthony's sister. What do you reckon on the game tonight? You haven't watched a game of football in about 5 years?
No, this is my first Knights game in the season. Last year I think I came twice, so the boys were a bit disappointing today, but I think they could do better next week.
Think you can do better? How do you reckon we're going to go next week? We've got Port Melbourne at home. I don't know if you know who Port Melbourne are or what, but what do you reckon? Give a score prediction, like you probably know as much as we do right now.
I think Knights can come back strong next week with a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. We like to hear it. How do you reckon we're going to go for the rest of the year?
Well.
And how much crap do you reckon you're going to get because I stitched you up to do this interview?
A lot.
Who are we joined by tonight?
Karl Rostov, Pashko Župan.
Hello.
Thoughts on the game tonight, fellas?
Disappointing. Couldn't finish the result. Just couldn't finish in front of goal. Passing was off. If Webby plays, Webby scores. So I think that's the difference today. You should be winning against a team like this, but you win sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. So,
Pashko, mate, thoughts?
Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose.
How do you reckon we're going to go for the rest of the year, boys?
We'll do very well. Look, you get your full squad back, you get confidence back. It's a different story no matter who plays. So
yeah, that's true. Score prediction for next week against Port Melbourne, mate. I'm going to hit you up because I haven't seen you much this year.
I've been here just as much as you, mate. I'll take a 2-0. I'll take a 2-0.
2-0?
Yeah, I'll take a
2-0.
As long as we win, I'm happy.
This is true. These are
very reserved answers from a committee member.
You like it, reserved answers. My answers haven't been reserved. You end up looking like a bit of an idiot, Predict the win against Bentley, you get hammered 5-1. Everyone goes, you don't know football. But it is what it is, mate.
In saying that, though, the first half of this season, we've done pretty well.
Yeah,
we have done well.
If we can continue doing that, we'll make finals, hopefully, and everyone will be happy.
That is true. Thanks for your time tonight, fellas.
Thank you.
Look, we had those two boys there quoting two of the greats, Gennaro Gattuso and Shima Kolchik. Absolutely wonderful.
Love it.
Love it. Ivana, thanks for doing the interview. I hope your friends don't take too much piss out of you for that. I thought you spoke pretty well for someone who's watched about 6 games in the last 4 years.
That's an impressive ratio.
Yeah, look, it's not bad. Well, she comes down every now and again, but Look, Big Garden Banter, look, it's quickly becoming a fan favourite. I honestly look forward to it now for every home game. I'm wrapped this week. We've got 2 in a row, so we're going to have a fresh one for you again next week. But speaking of next week, Josh, massive game for the boys on Friday night against Port Melbourne. You know, this game, given the unfortunate result on Friday night, all of a sudden becomes that little bit more important, just in terms of where you're going to be sitting towards this, back end of the year. They're sitting in that spot directly behind us. A win over them this Friday. You jump that 3 points up. There's a bit of a buffer. A few other results go your way. We potentially jump up to 3rd or 4th.
100%. It's a lot on the line this week. You don't expect all of the top teams to drop points again.
No.
You're not going to have lightning strike twice in that regard. So that makes this week all the more important to put things right. As Oliver was talking about earlier, they've been really positive. I think, it'd be nonsensical to slam the team for last week just because it's a confidence thing and you need to get that confidence back. And that's where I think the players most need to prepare is not really for Port Melbourne, for preparing themselves and getting their heads in the right space, the right mindset. I joked about it with Ollie, but I genuinely do think it is literally a mental thing. And the more fans that come down to support the team through thick and thin, the better chance the Knights have of turning this a little dip around and recovering the form. I caught between recovering and reclaiming a top 3 or top 4 spot and recovering the form that saw them really shoot to the top of the table earlier in the season.
And just we've got a quick comment from we're going to have my whole family on the show tonight. Mum's just jumped in on the comments. She's watched more than that. You forget she was a Knights senior women's player. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Watched a bit while she was on the pitch.
She might have watched a bit from the pine. I
don't know. Your 3-2-1s.
3-2-1s. Look, it was again a bit tough this week because I think there were a few standout performers, but I'll give it Manos. I've gone Manos for the 1 this week. I think he again a couple of clutch saves to keep us in the game at any point. I don't really fault him for either of the goals we conceded on the night. He's again proving to be, I think for me, one of our signings of the year. He'd definitely be in that, in the discussion. But again, just a solid performance, and especially because it was quite a still night down at Knight Stadium on Friday night. You could really hear a lot more than you normally would, given people, wind, all that sort of stuff, and just his constant talking and his presence from between the sticks, I think is absolutely massive.
Yeah, huge. I think he's been one of the signings of the season across the whole league.
Yeah, not just for us, across the league, without a doubt. The 2, I've gone for young Felipe Sanchez.
Yeah.
Again, I thought him coming on was one of the turning points in the game for us. He got recovered the ball a couple of times and made some good runs on and off the ball. I think he was immense off the bench.
Yeah, I probably would have given him 3 actually. That's where I differ, but I can't speak highly enough of what he did to impact that game and how unlucky he was not to pick up an assist or 2.
Yeah, definitely. Look, for me, I've gone Brycey for the 3 again this week.
It's so consistent.
He's just, mate, look, again.
I don't think there's any suspense as to who's going to win this award, by the way.
No, well, look, that just speaks to the level of player he is and the level of captain he's been for this team. He's, again, because of how still it was on Friday night, you could hear just how much talking he does, moving players side to side. He's constantly encouraging, talking, spurring the boys on. How he reads the ball through the air is phenomenal. He's good on the ball. Mate,
it's kind of the platonic ideal of a captain, isn't he?
Yeah, and a modern centre back.
Yeah.
These days in football, it wasn't like it was maybe 15 to 20 years ago where it was, if you're under pressure, just Lufthansa to the opposite corner flag. It's not like that anymore. And, to have a player like him back there, when he's on the ball, even if he's got a couple of people around him, I'm not worried.
No, he puts everybody's minds at ease, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And that's a precious commodity when it comes to the Knights.
No, definitely. Definitely.
Brycey, phenomenal. It's funny that he jokes about being, real skip and, his family not being bogans or whatever because in terms of his playing style, he's actually very cultured.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I will give a quick mention. Trevor Zwetsloop, probably unlucky not to get amongst the votes. again, he's been one player bringing in this year, and this goes down to the recruitment of the people at the club who have brought the players in for this year. For me, he's been an absolutely massive signing, and another game under his legs in the middle. He's looking better and better week after week. So, looking for a big performance from him and the rest of the boys this Friday night. Josh,
Prediction.
I'm going 2-0.
2-0 for the Knights.
2-0 for the Knights.
Your faith never wavers.
Look, mate, it's at that point now where I'm confident the boys, especially after the last 3-4 weeks. It's been a tough month for us. You play Hellas twice in the space of a week. One game going to 190 minutes, and then you got to travel the week after to face probably the informed team in the comp.
Yeah.
You get a few injuries along the way through that as well. It's been probably one of the harder months in football we've had over the last couple of years, just in terms of who we've had to play and how we've had to play them. So, you come out of that. It is what it is, the results over the last few weeks. But, you get a good win against Hellas a couple of weeks ago in the league. You knocked them off as an undefeated team. The game last night, on Friday night rather, goes, one of those offsides go your way, and one of the other 6 or 7 chances we created goes your way. We're having a different discussion tonight, mate. We're probably sitting second or third.
Yeah, absolutely. It's working backwards from the result sometimes with your outlook on things. I do think Port Melbourne are a pretty good side in pretty good form.
Yeah, look, it's definitely going to be a tough game, no doubt.
I'm going to go for a score draw. But if the Knights score first, I think they'll be in a good position. You just need that boost of confidence.
Yeah, look,
if the Knights score first, I think they'll win. If Port Melbourne score first, I think it's going to be a score draw. How's that for hedging my bets?
No, that's solid. I mean, you've still picked us to get some points here. You'd upset you're not confident enough to go for a straight out win.
I've just been scarred for the last couple of weeks.
No, look, and I get that. I've been scarred.
I'll be happy to be wrong.
I've been a bit scarred by the last 10 years, if I'm honest, but my faith does not waver. The boys are getting up this Friday. Heard it here first.
And we'll see if Zovac is sober enough not to scream into the microphone in the beer garden banter.
I'm backing that in. That's paying about $1.01, mate. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week at 8 o'clock.
Yes, indeed.
And hope to see you all down at the Knights on Friday night. Now, also, we're going to give a quick mention. Our mid-year show is coming up, 2-hour special, coming to you live from the St. Andrews Hotel.
Nice.
So
cannot wait.
Keep tuned in for that. It's going to be an absolutely bumper show. Might even have a couple of special guests for you, but you're going to have to wait and see.
I think the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional. So I'm going for the Knights.
When you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Buskak into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.